the Playbook with Girls Only Sports. I am Candace Allen with Kay Williams as always. This is episode 10.
Yeah,
We're
we
doing
10 deep
good.
now.
Yeah,
We
we in double
are.
digits. But this
hmm
episode we're going to be continuing our Olympics takeover, but sadly the Olympics are over, so this is like a recap episode of
It's
like the last 3 days.
yeah. It's the farewell. It's
It's
our
the
closing
farewell.
ceremony
Right, it's the closing
on
ceremonies, episode 10 of the Olympics. But it's been really
yeah.
fun covering everything. Be sure to follow us on all social medias, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check in with us, chat with us. But we're going to get into it. These last 3 days were just, they were exciting, nerve-wracking, all of it. But like, I see you doing your
Yeah.
moves. So before we get
Yeah.
into the stuff we know how to talk about, breakdancing. So, like, you gotta let me
I could have did
know.
it.
What
I'm
was
just
your
saying, like,
thoughts
we
on,
was
like, I think there was a huge difference between the men and the women. I'm gonna admit that.
oh yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
the music was different, the vibes was
Mm,
different, everything was different, the skill level was different. I think
mm.
some of them was playing on the women's side.
Like we was talking about what sport can we come in and do for 2028 in LA, and I think I found it.
You, well, you can't do it in 2028 because they saw what they did. They said no. They said no. They X'd it out for
Oh, they're not doing it
2028.
no more.
They not doing it in
Did they?
2028. Yeah. It came out today.
Swear.
I swear. They said the IOC came out and said breakdancing won't be in 2028. Unless it was fake news, but I did see that come out today.
Oh, I'm upset because
It
I
was
just
because
knew that
that
was
lady
my
was
caller.
playing doing I don't know, she was
She
doing
played
like
at
an opening
everybody's thing.
close on the floor. I think she was from Australia.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh,
But it was a good
I was
time watching
upset.
it. I was upset
It
too.
was fun.
I was upset. I was curious to see how it was, and like what the scoring was going to be and things like that. And there's a whole bunch of sports we don't know, but you can at least say it was a sport. But I
Yeah.
didn't think the vibes just wasn't right for that. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
good.
I agree.
It was a good little laugh though. But congratulations
It
to
was
all
definitely a good laugh.
the B boys and B girls who won. And it was so weird looking at the commentators who never heard of B girls and B boys. Like, let me get
right.
off that. We got to get into like the good stuff in the sports. So this is like, we're not even going to break this down into segments. We're just going to recap some of the big things that came out again over the last 3 days. And probably the controversy that's taken over everything is Jordan Chiles and her bronze medal.
Yeah.
Like, first off, before I
Give
break the
my
whole
girl
thing
her
down,
bronze.
like,
What are we doing?
I don't know how to feel. You
Yeah,
understand?
me
Like,
either.
in the moment, because we talked about it before when gymnastics was going on, I felt really bad for the Romanian gymnast Anna Barbosu, because like she was on the mat, she had the
Oh yeah.
flag, but in the moment, let me just break it down for you, for everybody.
Yeah, break it down.
This
it
is
down
what
for her.
happened. So basically, when on the floor exercises, Jordan was the last gymnast to go on the floor exercise, the individual event. So as the last to go, she performs her set. Unfortunately, you only get a minute to appeal whatever score you get. Normally, if she was in any other line of order, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, she will have 4 minutes. But as a last gymnast, she only had 1 minute to appeal whatever score she got. So score comes up, it's a little low. She places fifth. Everybody's sad. Her coach goes over to the appeal table, says, "Hey, you didn't score one of these skills correctly. Can you review it?" They reviewed it. The judges knocked her score up by, I think it was 1/10 of a point or something like that. But it basically put her in third place and she won the bronze medal. And then get into what we were just talking about. The young lady who won the bronze, who thought she won the bronze, Anna Barbosu from Romania, was on the mat with the flag. Obviously, she was sad, busting out crying. But then Jordan, you saw the jubilation and everything. They go through the whole ceremony. We get, again, the picture of the Olympics with them bowing down to the Brazilian gymnast. So everything seemingly is settled. Like, inquiries happen like that in gymnastics all the time. So we learn. So 5 days later, while we trying to get ready for track and field, soccer, basketball, all that good stuff, the
Yeah,
Romanian
putting
Federation,
gymnastics behind us.
right? We thought we was over it. The Romanian Federation submits an appeal, basically saying that that Jordan's coach didn't submit the inquiry in time. So I'm thinking like, okay, it's got to be like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the next day, something crazy. No. They're basically saying they have video evidence that Jordan's coach didn't submit the inquiry in over 4 seconds. So they went their minute. The 4 seconds, she was over by 4 seconds would submit her inquiry. They submitted to the Court of Arbitration of Sport, which I didn't know was a thing, but there is one, and the Federation of Gymnastics. They reviewed this evidence and basically said yes. They submitted it too late. 4 seconds too late. So thereby they awarded the bronze medal to the Romanian gymnast, which has now caused, and then basically said not only did they award the bronze medal to the Romanian gymnast, they said Jordan Chiles has to return the bronze medal.
Candace, I don't have words for this situation.
Look, and then
like
the story ain't even over. USA Gymnastics comes out like a day and a half later and says, we got video evidence that the coach submitted 2 inquiries, one at 44 seconds and one at 57 seconds, and they submitted to the Court Arbitration of Sports. And then today, just today, that same court came back and said, you can't appeal the appeal. And the Romanian gymnast still is awarded the bronze medal, even though there's probably video evidence that the coach did submit the inquiry in time. I don't even know if people could follow that, but that is where we are with this bronze controversy.
I have no words. I feel like it just sours the moment for either gymnast at this point.
Right.
Like, at what point do we draw the line? Because you're saying 4 seconds late.
Yeah.
But then they can come back and appeal it 4 days later. But then I can't appeal that appeal.
Like if we're being a stickler on time.
Yeah, if we're trying to out petty each other.
Right.
Like at this point, that's what it's giving. Because I'm like, ma'am.
Right.
It's so much to this that you can't even like wrap your head around it.
Right. And it opens up.
And the fact you think I'm going to bring my bronze back, I'll be out of Paris. I'm out of Paris.
You know she already
got you something back.
Jordan was already. She did all the media rounds. She has been on Good Morning. Right. She's been everywhere with that bronze medal. Her team gold as well. Right. But she's been everywhere. And you telling me I got to send it back? No. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give it to my mama, and I know you ain't gonna come to her house and pick it up. You understand what I'm saying?
She lost it at this point.
Right. You're right. It sullies the moment, and then I think it's going to open up a huge can of worms for the future, because it's like, okay, if the stickler is 4 seconds, like somebody was able to count 4 seconds past a minute that the coach was over, okay, when did it start? When was it supposed to start? Who's keeping the time? Is it digital? Are you doing an eyeball test? What it is? And then if you are the United States, y'all have the Olympics coming in 2028. What's to stop us from submitting inquiries every time a gymnast get off the floor? Like, no, inquiry.
Immediate inquiry. I don't even know if there was some missing. I'm going to just check it.
Right. Even if your score get higher, inquiry, like, it just sets a horrible precedent when, even to go back to that day, when the judges found out they didn't score Jordan's score right, or they didn't judge her performance right, they should have awarded them both bronze medals.
Agree.
Agree.
And then, too, for me, coming back to all the no, it's Jordan's, no, it's hers, the back and forth so far, at what point do they come out and say, it was our mistake, here's 2? Like, just both, let them both have it at this point, because at the end of the day, y'all did have Anna thinking she won, which fair, rightfully so. She thought she won, but then you come back and say Jordan won, and now it's like I said, it's soured the whole moment. I feel like for either of them, I feel like they need to take some accountability, and it's becoming this huge thing where I think the only solution for me at this point is to give them both a bronze medal.
Is give them both a bronze. Yeah, I'm with
And
you.
it's not like I don't mean it to sound like the bronze is not a fantastic accomplishment, but it's
Right.
not like for me. I feel like if it was a gold medal, then you do
Then
this.
you do all of this.
But,
Right.
yeah, you do the tit for tat if it's going for a gold.
Right.
But for a bronze, like
Right.
y'all got an extra bronze around there somewhere. I'm certain.
Right. You know what? I ain't even gonna add nothing. I ain't even gonna add nothing after that because you're right. Like when you write, you're
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
When you write, you right. But I'll add one last thing. The other sad thing about this too, like you said, it sours it for both athletes. Jordan had to leave social media, all that, because even before all of it, like the Romanian appeal took place, like she was inundated with racist attacks, all these attacks on social media saying she cheated and the U.S. cheated and calling her mother, her father, her sister, all out of their names and things like that. So she had to leave social medias and focus on her mental health and all that stuff just because somebody scored her performance wrong. And I think that's the covering it. All it is like, instead of the judges coming out and saying we made a mistake, they're cowering, and now we have all it is. But like when you write, you write. If there was a goal, we can do the tit for tat. But it's get them both of them girls a bronze medal, and let's call it a day.
Yeah, it's well deserved. Like let's just move on from it. And she doesn't need to be attacked over it. Like, come on, like you see the fallout. I think you step up in that moment and just be like, we made a mistake, we scored it wrong. We get you you thought you won a bronze. Here's your bronze. Here's Jordan's bronze. Like, let's move on.
Right.
You don't want to sour it more than it already has been. That's how I feel about
it. Unfortunately, and looking at the U.S. gymnastics statement, this may be going on for a little bit longer. But what a mess they made out of. Oh, what was a beautiful moment. Like, even that.
Right.
And I can go into that about why I think, they kind of they started all of this stuff anyway. That picture probably did more harm than good for a couple of folks. Because it was a moment, but we'll say that conversation for another day. But outside of the controversy, there was some terrific performances, especially in track and field. Shout out to Masai Russell from the U.S., won the 100-meter hurdles. First championship where she ever wins a medal. She wins a gold medal at the Olympics. I think she's only like 24 years old too. So
listen,
what an accomplishment.
Do it big.
Do it big. Like, first time on a big stage, popping out, winning a gold medal. And then our 4x100 relay team won their go. Listen, this started my stress. Like, I was cool. Yes. Like, I knew Saturday and Sunday I was gonna feel something. But this started my stress. Shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson, Gabby Thomas, Melissa Jefferson, and Twanisha TT Terry, I should say. Them baton passes in the rain.
Girl.
Listen. I was nervous.
I was shaking like I was out there.
And then that baton pass from Gabby Thomas to Sha'Carri, I was like, I don't know if I was just sweating is what I was. But it gave us again, we had so many good solo shots. When Sha'Carri got that baton like 2 meters behind and ran that girl down. Listen.
She's like, oh, you thought you had
you thought you had it? Like, and like, it was like a pause when she was running too. Like, I know you see me and now you don't. Like, that's ballsy. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, you ain't have to do them like that, Sha'Carri.
You didn't have to do it. But I'm so happy for her that she got this moment. I know she probably was disappointed. I don't want to say disappointed, but obviously she was heavily favored to win the gold and came away with the silver. But it was a reminder that, look, I'm still Sha'Carri and I still do this. And you ain't going to run me down.
Put some respect on my name.
Put some respect on me. And sis ran that girl down, and they were able to run away with the 4x100 meters in the relay. Oh, we got to put that picture up here because it was it got to be the gift because that's what gets it. You got to see that. It was just crazy.
The motion,
right?
The fact that she could do that and still keep her stride is just because I think
it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But she wanted this one. She wasn't going home without no gold medal. And then the one race that, we kind of knew the inevitable was going to happen. For the 8th straight time in this event, the U.S. women walked away with the 4x400 meter relay. gold medal. Shamir Little, Sydney McLaughlin, Laroni, Gabby Thomas, and I wish I had her last name, and Alexis. I mean, by the second leg, we knew they were talking about it on the broadcast that Sydney should have ran the anchor. And in my head, I'm like, put her
That's
on
what
anchor.
you was thinking too.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like,
Right.
why do you have Sydney on anchor? Obviously, their coaches know more than me. I'm not gonna coach.
We just think we the coach.
We just think we the coach. When they gave Sydney that baton, it was over.
She said,
like her
bye-bye.
first 10 steps, it was over. I think her relay split
sure.
was a 47.90, which is absolutely crazy. I think only 2 other women have ever run that relay time in a 4x400 meter relay. So it was just incredible to see them. And about time Gabby Thomas had the baton. I think they had to zoom out. You know, on the iPhone, you got the 2 zoom. They had to zoom out so far to see how big the lead was.
To feel,
it was just incredible. It was an incredible achievement for them to run that kind of time. It was, I believe the second fastest time or the third fastest time in history. They broke the American record. That's been set since 1998. So for them to, and we've had some incredible 400 meter runners and relay teams over the years. So for this team to do it, and that time was crazy. And Gabby Thomas walked away with 3 gold medals. We talked about her last time. Harvard grad.
It just hurts your pride to talk about it.
First Olympics, 3 gold medals.
What can you do?
Yeah, I'm an underachiever.
Some people got it and she just got it.
Yeah. No more to say after that. Shout out to you, Gabby Thomas. Right. Yes, I'm a little jealous. Also a shout out to our women's volleyball team. They walked away with a silver. I wish I could get up. I got up early enough to watch it, but the first and second set, my nerves was already on high because I knew the soccer game was going to start a little later that day, and I couldn't. But they got the silver. Italy was just on another level at that period of time. They were clicking on all cylinders. And unfortunately, our team couldn't repeat in gold, but they played well enough. And that crazy semifinal match, but they were able to walk away with a silver medal. So shout out to those ladies.
You can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that.
But the 2 games that probably ruined us. You know what? I'm gonna switch it. We're gonna do soccer first.
I was gonna say, I think soccer should go first because that wasn't that stressful.
It sure wasn't. Well, maybe
I wasn't really that stressed.
You wasn't stressed. I was stressed.
I wasn't stressed.
I was stressed.
You were stressed watching the soccer
match? I tell you the soccer match, USA versus Brazil, the gold medal game. I was stressed because in that first half, I've been learning my soccer terms. I'm assuming Brazil was just on a full court press. Not press. I don't know what you would call that. They were just like, listen, we're gonna put 20 players in the front, get us the ball, and we're gonna shoot every time we get it.
Pretty much. And for Brazil, shout out to Ludmilla. She had quite the tournament.
Listen,
and she's coming to the NWSL. Chicago Red Stars signed her mid-tournament, and boy, can I not wait to see her.
Ooh.
She has been on one.
Right. You should have heard me. I was like, somebody get her out of there.
Get her out of there.
Get her out of there.
Yeah. She showed out. She had a fantastic tournament. So I was very nervous. She had 2 back-to-back, and I was like, oh, Brazil's not playing still. Y'all haven't lost the steam.
Right. They haven't. And was it Julie Foudy who was on the broadcast? She kept saying, they have fresh legs. They've been subbing in and out, XYZ. And I was so nervous because even on one pass, Naomi got crossed.
I know. Candace, I clutched my pearls.
I said,
don't do that to Naomi.
Not Naomi, girl. I got her out there on the island. I ain't never seen no crossover like that in soccer. She got, and then Alyssa got too.
Don't do her like that.
Listen, I was nervous.
I'm not gonna let it.
Yeah, they were attacking that whole first half, and the reason I say that is because I thought that would be their same kind of scheme in the second half, but before we get into the US, it seemed like Brazil took their foot off the gas in the second half.
I agree. I feel like they kind of sat back a little bit. I don't know. I think they probably, I don't know what they expected from the United States coming out of the second half, but I agree. I think they did lose some steam heading into the second half. But listen, I think it was clear everybody was tired at this point in the
Right,
tournament.
6
I think
games
maybe
in
they just,
16 days.
yeah, they just ran out of gas a little bit and had to pump the brakes a little bit.
Right.
And USA definitely capitalized on that. On their one chance and they took it.
Look, you talk about one chance. Mallory Swanson got it. And I think everybody looking at it in real time, I'm a new fan here. I'm like, oh, Sophia's offsides. It's not going to count. I didn't even get
Yeah.
hyped when it happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all the players kept looking back to see if that flag got raised and and replay and VAR and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, did it count? Did it count?
Yeah, I
But
know. I was fingers crossed. I was like, no, I think she's good. I think she's good. I seen the replay and I was like, oh no, she's offside.
right,
That VAR is so slim. It would upset me.
right,
If I was in the
right.
match, I'd be like, no, she was clearly offside. I see
Right. And then hearing
But
her in the post game, she said that since she saw Sophia Smith was offside, she actually screamed at her during the play to back off because if she would have
mm,
touched it, she would have been offsides. I'm like, they're obviously operating at a different level. But
yeah,
you can break this down more than me, but just her story to have the opportunity, everybody kind of knows that her not being on that World Cup team changed some
yeah,
things because you would absolutely want her on the field, but to get her back here, gold medal match, get some respect back on you on the USA name, and it be Mallory to
yeah.
actually score the one goal that got scored the entire game.
Yeah, it's so fantastic to see. One, because like you said, when she went out with that injury, Mallory was just on. She was on one.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could bet on Mal scoring. Like before she went down with that injury, any USA match, you knew Mallory was getting a goal. Like it was as simple as that. When she was just in such great form, and seeing her back in this tournament, and still coming back from an injury as bad as she did, all the setbacks she had with that injury, and still being in the same form as when she left.
Right.
It's so good to see. You could see it building to back at the club level early this season. Mallory's gonna be Mallory.
Right.
Like I'm not like I put all faith and like I said when coming into it, if anybody had to have a good tournament, it was her.
Right.
And girlie
she
showed
got
up.
the goal. She sure did.
Yeah.
She got the goal. And then everybody else kind of locked in after that. Well,
Oh, for sure.
it got a little sketchy, and we had to rely on my favorite player as usual.
Yes.
I don't know why they do that. Like at the end of the game, when it's like 10 extra minutes, the team is wanting to score, but it's like nobody just kicks the ball to the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Listen, one game, the semifinals, it was Alyssa Nair's foot. This game, it was Alyssa Nair's hand. Listen, when she hit that ball away, I almost slid off my couch. I didn't know what to do at that point.
I know.
I'm like, why is y'all playing?
I have a listener fact for you.
Okay.
Because I was like, you'll appreciate it. I didn't forget what it was though. Oh, I pulled it up. Let me go to my receipts.
Okay.
Alyssa Nair is the first ever goalkeeper to keep a clean sheet in a World Cup final and an Olympic gold medal match in women's soccer history. The best to do it. I'm sorry. We're just gonna go there.
You know what? I was gonna ask you like during the Alyssa Nair part to rank goalies. I think you're still too young to know Brianna Scurry, but I'm gonna ask you to do it anyway. 1, 2, start bench cut. Alyssa Nair, Hope Solo, Brianna Scurry.
Ooh, I think you're right. I don't know Brianna Scurry's her discography like that well enough to not cut her.
Right.
As much as my heart was to keep her.
Right.
I'm gonna have to sell her. I'm a bench Hope Solo, and in Alyssa Nair I trust.
You starting there. I think she won.
That's
I think she won
starting.
everybody over. Like I don't think people thought she could like. I mean, Hope Solo is such a great soccer name, and for her to be as great as she was, like, but I don't think anybody could have expected Alyssa Nair to be this good at this point. Still, she's basically a brick wall. Like, she's been incredible this entire tournament. Last tournament, the World Course, she be doing it all.
She does.
Whew, shout out to her. And then
it was a fun one.
There's a couple more players to. Well, I have a couple of questions for you just about the game. Why wasn't Rose Lavelle playing in this game?
For me, I think it was because Rose has been pretty ineffective this tournament. I think you're used to seeing what's her name? Rose.
Uh-huh.
Rose create more chances, help more in the build up play. I don't think she's really, I think she's had a pretty quiet tournament. I don't
Mhm.
think she's done much when she's on the ball. So that would be my reasoning for why you didn't see her in the gold medal match. But
Mhm.
I think, but again, she's another player coming back from an injury, and
Got you.
Rose does tend to be plagued with injuries quite often. So probably a minutes thing too. Like it's a quick tournament. She's probably gassed and again hadn't done much in the time
Right.
she was out there. So I think that's all it comes down to. But we'll see her when she's fully back in health. I'm sure she'll be right back in that
Yeah, they mentioned that a
rotation.
lot. And the midfield. I'm looking at the game, looking on Twitter, looking at the game, looking on Twitter. I'm like, dang, y'all
Mm.
going in about why Rose isn't in the game. And we want Cincinnati to be in the game sometimes too.
Oh, for
But
sure. Yeah.
she walks away with a gold medal, so that's good. But
Yeah.
before we get off the soccer, just listen.
I don't wanna. I don't wanna.
It's just add another name to the list of the greatest players in their sport to have never won a championship. But in this regard, I think it's safe to say the greatest women's soccer player that has ever lived. That is unquestioned. However, she does leave international play without a major title through no fault of her own. Like, listen, like she
Yeah.
basically built the Brazil soccer
Yeah.
program herself and sustained it. There were other great players around her,
For 20
probably,
years.
yeah, but just didn't have that federation support. But she carried all of that herself. So while other
Yeah.
teams and countries were investing, but just her last tournament, she did get in the
Yeah.
game. Like
She did.
she
And
got a couple
I
shots on goal. Like it was
yeah.
almost there, but not
I
quite.
there's not enough words for me to say about Marta. Like she's just one person you're gonna always miss seeing. I hope she plays in WSL for a couple more seasons,
Yeah.
selfishly. But yeah. It I think I text you late and imagine I was like, is it bad I want Marta to score and this to go to extra time? Cause I was like, I wanted her to have that opportunity to maybe get that goal. I
Right.
won't lie.
Right. And I
But
think that I wanted that too. Like,
yeah.
no, I did not lie. I didn't want that because I didn't want it to go to
We know you did
penalties.
because she was very yeah, she was very patriotic too.
USA all the way.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
But
I
it
think,
was good to see them win it.
yeah, 9 million people got up. I mean, 11 o'clock's not early, but 9 million people were able to watch the women's gold medal soccer match, which is always
Yeah,
great. You put these games in prime time, people are going to watch. That's all they
yeah,
need to do. But congratulations, obviously, to the U.S. women's national team. I don't want to say they got the monkey off the back because, in the state of soccer trophies, the World Cup is still that big one.
yeah.
But for them to walk away with a gold medal after all of the controversy and all of the changes
Yeah,
and the generation
yeah. For
change and
it,
all that
yeah, for
stuff,
sure. And
yeah.
for it to be Emma
Oh, and we
Hayes
didn't
is
even talk about
Emma's.
Emma Hayes.
Yeah, it's like her second week here.
Listen, I would be
She already
mad
got gold.
if I was a previous coach. Like my feelings legit would be hurt that this coach has come in. I think she's only coached 10 games and won a gold medal.
Yeah. Hey, can't do it then. On to the next.
Right. That's a shot
No,
to
but
the
I think
gut.
you definitely see. Yeah, I think you definitely see the love that she has for the team, and like her belief in the team, and the team is definitely accepting her, and it's going to be exciting to see
Yeah.
where it builds and how it goes over more time than just 10 games. So
For sure.
I'm
I think the
excited.
the next big tournament, the World Cup is what, 2027?
Yeah,
Whoo! And most of all the team is still gonna be there because they're babies. Um,
yeah,
but congratulations to them. And what happened to be the last competition of the
girl.
Olympics was the basketball game between the women's basketball game between the U.S. women's national basketball team and the French women's basketball team. 9:30 on a Sunday. Everybody thought, yeah, we was gonna get up. We were gonna see a little competition. But the inevitable obviously was going to happen. The U.S. was going to win by like 15, 20 points, something like that. That's what we
Right.
are expecting.
Yeah, I'm like halftime. They're gonna pick they stride like they
Girl,
have been this whole
halftime.
tournament.
I don't know what I watched that Sunday. I don't. I'm still. This probably is going to be
You
the
was just clenched the whole
choppiest.
time.
You know what? That's the word I'm gonna use. Cause they was clinched the whole game. I would say they was clinched
Yeah.
into that third quarter when they got down by 10. But
Yeah.
just to break it down a little bit, so they're playing France. They're in Paris. The crowd is crazy. You already know the
Yeah.
atmosphere. And I think every single one of those US players felt every bit of pressure starting. Like when Lisa Leslie got to get on at halftime and say she ain't never seen Asia Wilson miss that many layups, that lady was clinched.
Right.
Listen.
Yeah. Along with
Clinched.
everybody
And
else.
25-25 was the halftime score. Like that didn't even
How?
happen. That was like a WNBA game like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like we don't even
Right.
play that type of basketball
We ain't
anymore.
seen that in a minute.
No.
Yeah,
it was a tight, nerve-wracking, low scoring, physical, like people was getting whacked in the face, pulled down by their shoulders. It was the craziest game I've ever seen a US women's national basketball team play.
Yeah, it was the most competition I've seen in 10 years.
Oh, absolutely. I think the last game
So,
that they won by single digits was, I think they had a single digit win in Tokyo, but the last big one was in the semifinals in 2028. They won by 4. So they had won in 30 odd years. But for this game, that's what it was. So when the game was happening, obviously their offense wasn't working. Like the worst thing that could have happened to this team happened. Asia and Stewie both were having horrible offensive games.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it was the pressure, the speed, or whatever offense France was playing. Nobody could keep some guard in front of them. And everybody's looking at Cheryl Reeve like,
what we gonna do?
What we gonna do?
What we gonna do, coach?
What we gonna do? And she starts throwing everything. She's like, BG, you get in there. KP, you get in there. Kalia, you get in there. Like she was just,
you get a minute. You get a minute.
You get a minute. If she was gonna do that, she should have just thrown Diana in there too to let her get some run to get some shots up because nothing was working.
Well.
Yeah,
you know she gonna throw them up.
Right. But I will say in that third quarter, when they got down 10, because as soon as they came out, France went on a run. They got down 10. When I tell you, I was sweating through my clothes. I think that's the point where, even though Asia she missed a lot of shots. She wasn't having the best game offensively. She locked in defensively and started knocking these girls back. Because I think at one point she hit Maureen Johannes in the face. and she was like, hey, y'all want to play big body ball? Like, let's do it.
Right.
But it was her in that third quarter, and then Kalia Copper in that fourth quarter. Like, anybody question it? I don't want to hear any more questions about who was on this team and why. This is why Kalia Copper was on this team.
Locked in. And Kalia Copper is such a big moment player, too. Like,
right.
I'm not even shocked that she could pull off this performance on that stage in that moment, because that's what she does.
Right.
She loves a moment. The girl loves a moment.
Right.
What a performance! Like, what do you even say about that?
You can't really say anything because she didn't hardly play during pool play.
Yeah.
She didn't really play in the quarters and the semis, and to get in, not only get in the game, you get in the game in the fourth quarter. Single possession game the entire way through, play tremendous defense, score the game-winning basket, and knock down all your free throws. Like, they needed somebody to come in and get it out. Like, they had to get it out the mud, basically. And they needed players who could do it. And she was the one that could do it.
Exactly. That's one of those things where you show when your number is called, you're ready. And she was ready in that moment. And all credit to her, because that fourth quarter without you, girl, I don't know where we would be right now.
Listen, if France didn't miss all of them shots, and if Gabby Williams' toe wasn't 2 inches in front of that free throw line, she would have tied the game. We would have been over. Like, Gabby Williams, had a tweet or a TikTok or something, they'd be like, "Why does Gabby Williams turn into Maya Moore during the Olympics?" And I'm like,
Why?
"Why?
It
You
never
play in the
fails.
W all these years." And she's been obviously a great role player
It's
in the W, but no, sis
mm,
turned into Maya Moore.
it's something about when people are at their national team
Yeah,
that they're like, it's my time.
right,
It's my show right now. And she's one of those people, like
right.
every time she puts on that France jersey,
It's
she's like, it's revenge tour all every against
right.
every WBA player.
I'm on a
I'm at
different type
y'all's
of
head.
time. Right.
Yeah.
Right. She hit
Yeah.
a 3 over Asia and then she came. I'm like,
Girl.
this cannot be happening to me. And then KP smiling at the free throw line, knocking down her free throws.
Oh, KP, I was like, oh, she crazy. No, when I see KP on that free throw line, I said, I'm
Listen,
upset right now.
why was she
Cause
smiling?
why
Like
are you smirking?
she was like, listen, I'm in the biggest moment of my career. Game on the line,
Smirking.
and you see all my teeth. But when she knocked down her free throws, I'm like, okay, cool. But then here come that damn Gabby Williams again.
I had no words.
I had no words too. And it was kind of anticlimactic because I wish it would have went into overtime just to see the game go on a little bit
I
longer.
don't. I don't. Because Gabby was hitting the stride.
Gabby was getting
Gabby,
it. Gabby
Gabby knocked
getting
those two back to back.
it. She just did.
She wasn't missing it, OT.
She may have ran us off the floor come overtime.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
she, they needed a 3 to tie. She made it 2. And then Stewie, listen, I cannot stop laughing at that picture. Stewie knew it. Stewie's like, look,
immediately.
this game is over.
To be fair, I knew it immediately too. I was like, her foot was definitely over the line.
Right.
But when she put her arms up and then she's like, oh.
She kind of knew.
I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry. I was like, oh.
But that was I don't even know. Like, I've been trying to stay away from other people's breakdowns of how the game went until, we did our show. I'm trying to figure out what went right, what went wrong, what could have done differently. And part of me is just like, this was the reason why this team was selected, is because they kind of knew they were going to have a game where everything was going to go wrong. And they needed players who wasn't going to panic. They need players who weren't going to panic. They needed players like a Kalia Copper who could come off the bench cold and have a game like this. They needed a KP and a Sabrina who could settle things down interchangeably. They needed, even though it took a minute for Nafrisa and Stewie, they didn't do a lot offensively, but their length caused some problems. Asia had to be Asia, and in the third quarter, she turned into her. Thank God she did at that point. Otherwise, we would have got beat. And then, I was talking to my brother the other day. He's like, why didn't BG play? I'm like, they were switching everything defensively. Them guards was getting by her. She couldn't stay on the floor. So I'm like, I'm going to just cop this game to, this is why this team was put together. Like, they needed...
Big moment players.
There's
a lot of big moment players on that
This
team.
wasn't a time for, let's put in this
Change
scheme.
the
Let's do this. Marketing, XYZ. Like, I get all that stuff. But this gold medal specifically, especially when all these teams have been playing year round just to prepare for this Olympics, you couldn't play no games, and they needed players to get things done, especially when everything was falling apart. I am a little bit nervous because, normally Chelsea Gray is somebody you can always rely on in crunch time, but I don't think she's 100% yet. And I think that became...
I agree.
Very clear.
Very clear. And with that level of talent that you're going up against,
it was right for her to take over. And when Cheryl Reeve couldn't put her in the game, I'm like, I don't think she's back 100%. But it wasn't lost on me that at least 2 of them aces was on the floor at the same time.
Oh, for sure. Listen, at all times.
Cheryl Reeve wasn't playing no game.
She knew exactly what that was.
Right. But 8 straight gold medals. I mean, history, the legacy. I will put this team, obviously there's the 96 team. They're the standard bearer. The 2016 team, even though they did Candace Parker dirty, is the best collection of talent ever assembled on a team. I'm going to put this team right below them because all of the pressure, you probably had people openly rooting against you. You had people questioning your talent. Why you on the team? This is who you need. Nobody wants to watch you. XYZ. To carry
Mhm.
all of that and then have the expectation to once again come in and win against an opponent on their home court with their fans, like they was clinched.
Yeah.
But
Just like we were.
for the, for them to be able to get through all of that noise, and again come out with a gold medal, um, they deserve, this team specifically deserves a lot of credit because they shouldn't had to go through what they did to get to this point. So
Yeah.
shout out to all of the players. And again, one shout out, Asia Wilson, MVP of the tournament. I don't think that was questioned. As
At
soon as
all.
she locked in at a part of her game, obviously early on, those shots weren't falling, but when she locked in defensively, you kind of knew the US was taking a turn. But all tournament, she was kind of running the show. And she can do something incredible this year. I mean, she did it a couple years ago where she won, I think she was the MVP, the Defensive Player of the
Mm.
Year, the finals. No, that was the year before. Then she won the World Cup MVP and the World Cup. So this year, she technically could be MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Olympic MVP, Finals MVP, first team all day. Like she can run the gamut like a golden calendar year. If she's able to pull this off, we're gonna use our. I think it's time we start using our favorite term that
We
we
go
wear
there.
out on this show. I think it may be time to do it if they
Yeah.
can pull it off.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this: since we
Yeah.
easing back, we Olympics wiping our hands clean of this 2 weeks of pure stress.
Right.
We going back into the W, going
Yeah.
back into regular, our regular schedule lives.
Right.
Only stressing every couple of days. Um, the Aces they gonna have a comeback. They gonna catch their stride coming off of this break. Everybody outside of Asia and was well rested on the team. We done put up some
um
shots in the gym. We'd have been practicing. Sid's ready.
Um, Not to make light of it, the Aces do stay under investigation. That may cause some issue.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
Because that's going to add a different level of stress and attention and people not wanting to see you succeed. But I will say, just for the players on that team,
Mhm.
I'm still betting on the Aces. I'm
Late in the season, you betting on Aces.
I'm betting on the Aces because you're gonna have to beat them. Two,
Yeah.
I think all of those players, and specifically meaning those four Olympians, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, and who had a great Olympic tournament too, because Jackie Young didn't even play the first couple of games and wound up in the starting lineup because she started big bodying them girls. And then
Right.
obviously Asia Wilson, they're pissed off. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people were disrespecting them. Why are you on the team? Nobody want to watch you play. And then obviously with all the other stuff going on, nobody wants to see the Aces. I'm talking about the players. Wants to
Mm.
see the Aces win in the way that they have. I think they have something to prove. And specifically, I still think Asia has something to prove. And until a team can you're not they're gonna make the playoffs, but until a team can beat her for 2 straight games, 3 straight games, however many it is, I'm rooting for them. Not rooting for them, I'm betting on them.
Yeah.
How about
Okay.
you?
All right.
I do have a dark horse though.
Oh, who's your dark horse?
It's Dallas.
You think Satu gonna come back strong?
I think if Satu, I'm telling you, if Satu comes back and fits in as seamlessly as she can, they can make a run.
Mm.
And I don't think any team wants to see Dallas in the playoffs. And I
Yeah.
truly mean that because they got size, they got scoring, they got speed. And then with Satu, you got a player who can go get hers. Natasha Howard, too. That's a team I would not want to see at all. At all.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
But who's your team before, I ain't gonna let you get out of it.
I'm with you. I'm betting on the
You
Aces.
betting on that.
I'm always bet on the Aces, especially with the season and
Right.
the year that Asia is having.
Somebody
I
gotta
don't
beat her.
think H is ever gonna brush that chip off her shoulder. Just
No.
even if it's not even there anymore, she's still gonna have it and she's still
It's
gonna
the
lock
fourth
in.
place
And
vote. It's the I'm
yeah,
not
she's still
marketable.
proving y'all wrong.
Right. It's
Yeah,
the oh, y'all only want to get a gold medal by 1 point. Like she's coming back here
yeah,
pissed off. Now, granted, she only got 5 days of rest, but
right.
and it's crazy too. I think they
She'll be
come
ready.
back. Their game, they got a game. Her and Stewie got to play each other on Saturday. And then I think they play the Sparks of all team. They play the Sparks. I think it's a back to back. So they played them on Sunday. I wish I had the schedule right, but that's their next two
Oh, we're
games.
gonna have
So
to. Okay, we're gonna have to lock in and talk about that one
yeah,
immediately.
it's that's gonna get interesting. So, I think
Yeah,
Asia will she
I'm
trying to
ready
prove
to.
something.
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready to get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah. It's
Cause
been fun. The
the
Olympics
Olympics
have
have
been
me
fun.
stressed. It's been
Yeah.
fun, but it's been stressful,
It
girl.
sure
Oh, I'm
has.
stressed.
It sure has. But
Yeah.
it's I hope everybody who watches it just has a good as time as we have talking about it and some of the stuff. But stay in, tune in with us. We're gonna get back into the W stuff. We couldn't even get a day rest before the controversy started back up, so we'll get into some of that.
Look, they're like, "Oh, you got your goal? Okay, bet. Here go a lawsuit."
And like, and it's
Immediately,
always
here's
the
a
Aces.
lawsuit.
Like it's no other team but
Always
the
the
Aces. It's
aces.
always the
Let me
Aces.
go check Sid's Twitter, see what she talking about.
Right. Right. Um, get into some of this NWSL and MLS drama news that just came out. Like, I think there'll be a lot to get into, and hopefully we'll get some of the Olympians from the Columbus area on the show. So that is our show. I hope you guys enjoyed the Olympics and listen to us recap the Olympics. As always, follow us on all social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter /X. I'm Candace. That's Kay. This is the Playbook.